Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV and I'm driving in a Tesla Model S because I wanted to talk about the autopilot in this car. And it's something that's been in the news today and yesterday over a very tragic accident involving somebody who was driving the car with the autopilot enabled. And I've been using this now for the better part of a month in my personal vehicle here. This is a vehicle I bought myself, so Tesla's not paying for this review. And by the way, the YouTube channel isn't paying for it either. It's a day job purchase. But I've been using the autopilot quite a bit, and I've found it to be a real enhancement and not a replacement for common sense. And I wanted to show you how it works here. So I'm going to turn it on right now. I just double tap the cruise control. I can take my hands off the wheel, and as you can see, the car is keeping itself in line. There is a warning that shows up though inside the dashboard saying keep your hands on the wheel. In fact, every so often the car is going to ask me to do that so that it makes sure that I'm still alive and able to operate the car. And I think the mistake that a lot of people have been making, and there's a lot of YouTube videos out there with people doing this, the mistake that a lot of people have been making is having this car drive on autopilot like it's a Google car with the LiDAR and all the other stuff. You know, this car has some pretty advanced technology, but it's the same technology that's in a lot of other cars right now, which is lane keeping. It's got the radar cruise control, so it can prevent you from slamming into something. It will slow down and do stop and go traffic. It will keep itself in lane here and steer the car automatically, but it's not a replacement for the driver's awareness and the driver's intuition, because the computer in the car kind of assumes that everybody on the road is rational, which is far from the truth. In fact, I don't think there's a single rational actor on the road right now, perhaps with the exception of my car that's currently controlling our drive. And one of the things that I have found the autopilot to be is actually something that when the driver is very aware and alert and looking around, actually makes the drive safer. And you'll see we're coming up on this car here, and the car is slowing down because this guy's getting off the highway, and it really slowed down to 55. And what will happen now is it'll speed back up now that car is out of the way to the speed limit here. But a couple things you have to be aware of right now. So we've got people merging onto the highway here. It doesn't know to be polite. It's not going to just go into the next lane to let this person on the highway. So that's something you need to be able to take over and adjust for. And but when you do have this thing working the way I have it working at the moment, and you are paying attention, it really does, I think, make for a safer ride. And the reason is that I can actually focus a little bit more on what's going on around me and behind me. And the car is doing that also. So the car has sensors all over the place. It's monitoring the proximity nearby the vehicle. It can see out a little bit further here in front of me because it's got the radar on the front. And it will brake if it sees something up ahead. And I've seen at least on 2 occasions now where the car has actually done things for me before I would have reacted. And it doesn't mean I was avoiding an accident, but it means that it's actually able to do some things that are better than a human can. And when you're really paying attention and you're able to look around the proximity of your vehicle as well. We're going to change lanes right now. All I have to do now is just turn my turn signal on here, and you can see it just switches right over to the other lane here, and we're going to pass this car. And there they go. But when you really are more alert and aware while this is activated, you are able to see things coming at you that you may have missed before. And that's been something that I've really noticed with this driving system, is that I can take a little bit more time to see what the morons next to me are doing and make sure that they're not going to slam into me, or maybe I need to do something to slow down to prevent them from getting into my lane or whatever. I don't have to necessarily always worry about what's in front of me in that split second. But that's being an alert driver. And we don't know the circumstances as to what happened with the driver in Florida who tragically passed away with a pretty horrific accident. But he was operating the autopilot not on a road like this one, a regular highway, but on a road that wasn't a divided road, but had crossing traffic. And I think that is a place where you don't want to activate the autopilot. The Tesla system lets you turn it on pretty much anywhere. On some of the secondary roads, it will limit your speed limit and really just kind of be a steering assist more than anything else. But it is something that can be activated anywhere, but really only should be on the highway here where everybody is going in the same direction and you don't have vehicles turning in front of you. And that's been something I've been very keenly aware of. And here's another example. So we got this truck next to me. I'm kind of sitting in his blind spot, and I got a car here on the side. I'm going to deactivate the autopilot now and take control, because I don't know what this truck's going to do. I don't know what this guy is going to do. And this is stuff that the autopilot really isn't programmed to think about. Maybe down the road it'll have some intelligence to it, but nobody can predict what these people are going to do. And I'd rather start braking earlier than the car might, because at this point it figured that car over there was just pulled over and not really moving. So these are the kind of little nuances nuances that you have to be aware of. When we're just going on a straightaway here and everything is fine, no problem. But when one little thing that isn't kind of programmed into its computer occurs, then you really need to be alert and ready to take over. So the bottom line with this is that I think people, especially Tesla owners, need to be responsible about how they use this, because a couple of bad things happening is going to ruin it for everybody. And I found this to be a really pleasurable way to drive to work in the morning. I have about a 20-25 minute commute every day, and this has really made it a lot easier to get that commute over with. Not because I can take my laptop out like I'm on the train or something, but because I can actually focus a little bit more on what's going on around me. And as you can see, I often hop in and out of autopilot here just so that I can take control. And maybe the car would react appropriately in a certain situation, but I try to drive cautiously, and that includes turning off the autopilot when we're not in a situation where traffic is just flowing freely here. So that's my 2 cents on it. I really think people need to be more careful about how they turn this system on. I think maybe Tesla should look a little bit more closely about how it works on non-highway roads to make sure that people aren't putting it on in places where they shouldn't, because really what will happen here is when the car doesn't see anybody in front of it, it will go whatever you set the cruise control to, and it doesn't know really if somebody crosses in front of you, sometimes until the last minute, and you really can't stop the laws of physics no matter how advanced your computer is. So I just think everybody needs to be careful, and hopefully if that's the case, everyone will enjoy their autonomous driving moving forward. But I will say very truthfully that this has really proven to be a very nice way to drive, and if you're paying attention, much more safer than it might be just using your own 2 eyes and intuition. This is Lon.TV, and thanks for watching. This channel is brought to you by my Patreon supporters. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.